This low wall appears to be more decorative than functional. The sign reads, Dr. Cranium. You wonder what sort of medicine he practices. It looks like a gigantic stone nose. Who knows what it really means? The old man walks with a slumped back and a sad, dejected look in his eyes. He seems to be searching for something that he hasn't been able to find. You greet the old man.
Good day. Have you seen my honor? I am Nikolai. Have you seen my honor? Honor. Have you seen my honor? I am looking for honor. Have you seen honor?
You tell the old man goodbye.
If you see honor, tell her I am looking for her.
You are in a totally weird place. This hallway gives you a strange feeling of vujade, the sense that you've never been anywhere like here before, but maybe will someday. This strange device is labeled Transcendental Receiving Animal Processor. I wonder if that stands for something. Be careful, it might be a trap. The bust's eyes seem to follow you as you walk through the hallway. There's a sign on the door. It says, Warning, do not open without appropriate precautions. You hear something bouncing around behind the door. A lot of somethings. How interesting. It sounded as though someone knocked on the other side of the door as well, several times. Oh no, you've been Antwerped! Fortunately, these are just baby Antwerps, so the attack wasn't fatal. It's a truly impressive, original, multimedia work created out of whitewash and sawdust. The sign says, this is the key maze. It reminds you of a porthole minus the glass cover, so it's definitely not a glass of port. You don't hear anything behind this door. There is no response to your knock. Behind the door is a sort of rat maze, but it's missing the rat, or whatever is supposed to be traversing the maze.
Still you remain. It is a wonder you have managed to live so long.
This general store is cheery and well lit, thanks to the warm hearth. The first things that you notice are the cats. They seem to be everywhere. Then you see the shopkeeper, sitting on her rocking chair as she knits. She's a very, sturdy-looking woman.
So, you're the stranger in town. I've heard all about you already. Yeah, polite, aren't you? And manners are as manners do, as my husband used to say. We'll see. You can call me Olga. Mrs. Stovich is too formal after all. We don't welcome strangers here. They bring nothing but trouble. All the same, it's good to see a new face again. Let me see, what could you use? Well, besides my regular items like brooms and pens, I really don't have anything else for adventurers like yourself. I do have some lovely sandwiches you can use for rations. And garlic, of course you'll need garlic. I've also got some oil you can use to keep the weapons and armor from rusting. And if you like sweets, I've got some yummy homemade candy. Although the garlic-flavored ones have all been purchased by now. I'll have to make some more. Oh, and a shopping bag to carry things in. I have a couple of those left. 3 twists of candy will cost you just 5 kopecks. The kids love them. Oh, now garlic is a must-have item. It's just 25 kopecks for a bulb, and it will add flavor to any food.
The storekeeper looks around nervously for a moment, then continues.
You know, some say garlic also has medicinal and protective properties. My husband always said I make the most interesting sandwiches. They're very good for you, and I only charge 50 kopecks each for them. The shopping bag costs 50 kopecks. It is very useful for carrying your purchases or other large things. A flask of household oil will cost you 100 kopecks. It's good for door squeaks and can also be used to loosen up rusty wagon wheels. I can sell you a very nice large pie pan for 250 kopecks. I've always admired the men who can cook. You can purchase the hen broom for 350 kopecks. I'm sure you'll really clean up with it. Now, what would you like to know about? Yeah, Bella's a good woman. She's the one who really runs the inn. Her husband just gives orders. Someday she'll give Yuri a piece of her mind, and good for her. The things she puts up with. Bella, she was a pretty woman not long ago. Was not called Bella for nothing. Losing her only child really aged her. What a tragedy. The castle north of town was abandoned for many years. Then some strangers moved in 4 years ago. No one knows what goes on there now. But it won't be for the good, I'll tell you. Werewolves are gypsies, no question about it. They change into wolves at night, eating anyone they can get. Nothing can kill a werewolf but silver or magic. So you be careful out in the woods at night, you hear me? The gypsy camp is not at all that far from here. That is a bad place, and you'd better have nothing to do with it. It is dangerous and should have been torn down long ago. Many a stranger never came back after asking questions about it, so don't let your curiosity be the death of you. Yeah, my husband and myself had run this shop for many, many years. My husband passed on now, but I keep it just the way he liked it. A well-run shop is a busy shop, he always used to say. Not very busy anymore, what with the swamp. But I try to keep it going the best I can. Mostly housewares, but a few items that might interest you. You be careful. We don't need you going around stirring up trouble after all. Got enough as it is. If you do find something interesting, you let me know, of course, won't you?
The cozy cat conveys a calmness most common in comfortable confine. The window looks out on the street and provides some extra sunlight in which the cats can bask. The cozy cat. The fire helps keep the shop and the cats warm on these cold autumn evenings. The large ewers are just right for carrying water. The shopkeeper does a good business in clocks. Apparently the villagers like to be able to tell when night is approaching. Either garlic is one of the most popular products here, or the shopkeeper ordered way too much and hasn't been able to get rid of it. This pot is looking a bit blue. Maybe that's because it hasn't been sold yet.
Goodbye. Or, as my dear departed Boris used to say, may the winds blow fair at your back.
You bait the trap with avocado from your sandwich. Avocado was never high on your list of favorite foods anyway. The trap starts working. Oh no, you've been Antwerped! Fortunately, these are just baby Antwerps, so the attack wasn't fatal. You've caught an Antwerp. It's simply amazing. You hear mysterious bubbling and sizzling noises. Every once in a while you think you hear someone muttering to himself. This is the Antwerp maze. Antwerps are naturally bouncy, so all you have to do is continually rotate the maze until the baby Antwerp bounces over to the key, then out through the exit. Congratulations. You've used the baby Antwerp to get Dr. Cranium's laboratory key from the maze. You add the key to your keyring. Great! You've managed to find Dr. Cranium's keyhole and open the door. You pass through into Dr. Cranium's private laboratory.
Quickly, Igor, the fluid! I must have the fluid! Oh, excuse me. I thought it was Igor coming in to assist me. He helps out in the lab sometimes. Now then, what can I do for you?
You say hello to the scientist.
Welcome to my laboratory. You must have more than the usual intelligence and perseverance to have made it in here.
You introduce yourself to Dr. Cranium and tell him a little about your adventures.
I should be most interested to hear about your travels and your scientific discoveries along the way. Unfortunately, I have very little time for that right now. Perhaps we can discuss your adventures when you next return. My name is Dr. Cranium. I am Moldavia's chief scientist and a certified genius. Some call me mad, but I much prefer Dr. Cranium. Ah, yes, science. I'm glad you asked. Science is the process of systematically increasing our knowledge of the world through observation and experiment. Unfortunately, some of the townspeople here seem to have no concept of the wonders of science. Some of them even claim my little inventions are magical. Such poppycock. There's no such thing as magic. Still, the townspeople insisted that I should be able to use my magic to cure wounds and sickness. I told them that I am a scientist, not a doctor, but they wouldn't listen. I had little choice but to concoct some simple elixirs. They were childishly pleased. Science is really so simple once you understand it. If you want to improve your stamina, then you should make sure you eat a healthy diet from all the different food groups and get plenty of aerobic exercise. That is science. Oh, you must mean my patented healing drink. You may have my last one. Unfortunately, I have forgotten the formula for its main ingredient. If you can help me remember it, I will be able to make some more healing drinks, although the work is very time-consuming. Thank you. With that information, I'm sure I shall be able to create some sensational scientific solutions. Oh, you must mean my new universal poison antidote. You may have this one, but I will need some help with the formula to make more. Also, I am afraid I only have time to make one each day. Thank you. With that information, I'm sure I shall be able to create some sensational scientific solutions.
You ask Dr. Cranium if he can spare an empty flask for specimen collection.
Of course, of course. I am always delighted to assist scientific research of any kind, and I have plenty of flasks. You may have this one. Experiments are the meat and drink of science. First, you must come up with a hypothesis based on your understanding of the scientific elements. Then perform an experiment to test the hypothesis. Afterwards, you have a pizza. Earth is for solidity and stability. Air gives freedom and movement. Fire provides power and energy. Water, fluidity and life. Pizza, of course, is the most important element of all. Pizza represents the essence of well-roundedness and regaining strength. Most importantly, you can have it delivered in under half an hour in most areas. A hypothesis is a scientific guess. One predicts the result of an operation, performs an experiment to test the prediction, then has a pizza to celebrate the result. It is very important to stay flexible, however. Sometimes the experiment may give a different result than predicted by the hypothesis. Since real scientists don't like to make mistakes, we always write the hypothesis in pencil. Pizza is a crucial ingredient in many scientific formulae. There is a nearly infinite variation in its effects, depending on whether one starts with pepperoni, mushrooms, artichokes, or plain cheese. One should always order extra pizza in case the experiment requires additional materials. Besides, science is hungry work. Experiments are the meat and drink of science. There is, of course, no such thing as magic. There is only science. Still, you would be amazed at how gullible some people are. Just the other day, someone gave me this scroll saying it was a magical spell. Can you believe that? It is purest poppycock. Nothing on here makes any sense whatsoever. Here, you may have this as a reminder that magic is a figment of fevered imagination. Only science is real.
Obviously, Dr. Cranium needs to take a correspondence course from the famous wizard school. As you read the scroll, you find that you have learned the incantations and gestures with which to cast a glide spell. Then the scroll vanishes.
There, you see, it was not even a very good piece of parchment. Fell right apart. Igor is the gravedigger and tombstone carver. Business has been slow lately, perhaps because there are very few people left in town. So Igor sometimes comes in to help me with my work. Igor has had less work of late. The forest is just as dangerous, but there aren't very many people left in town who are stupid enough to go out there at night, you know. I like to think of it as a sort of evolution in action. Igor is carving out quite a niche for himself in the gravestone business. You might say he is well on his way to becoming a rock star. Then again, you might not. The cemetery is outside of town to the east. It has proven a fruitful source of materials for my experiments. There are also some interesting and cryptic puzzles to be solved there. Essential etheric fluid is an important ingredient in my formula for reanimating dead bodies. It contains the essence of the element of water, the most important ingredient in life science. This laboratory is where I perform some of my most important research. Lately, I have been trying to bring life back to a dead body and to brew the perfect cup of tea. Reanimating the dead is just another day's work in the life of a scientist. Even science cannot bring a person back right the way they were, but one can use scientific principles to restore the semblance of life and energy to formerly dead flesh. The one alchemical combination that I have thus far been unable to fully analyze is that of a good cup of tea. I'm sure there must be a way to duplicate the effects of nature, but the results have not been promising so far. Perhaps you would like a cup of spearmint and beefsteak tea? I thought not. This is even harder than rehydration solution and reviving dead tissue. Research is the heart and soul of science. Without constant experimentation to prove or disprove one's hypotheses, the scientist is left trying to solve the world's problems by guesswork. That is hardly the most efficient way to achieve results. I try to maintain a modest selection of useful experimental equipment in my simple laboratory. Unfortunately, it has become very difficult to obtain the most modern scientific accessories since the road out of the valley became closed by the swamp. Mad? Mad? They all call me mad, but what do they know of madness? I am not mad. A bit perturbed about the world situation and how I get so little respect, perhaps, but certainly not mad.
You explain to Dr. Cranium that magic is really a lot like science, and even deals with the same elements.
Oh, nonsense! There's no such thing as magic. There is only science. What you call magic is simply scientific phenomena that have not yet been properly investigated and catalogued.
Dr. Cranium has an orderly personality, so he likes to arrange things in tables. Better table that idea for now. Dr. Cranium likes to stay ahead of his competitors.
I am truly sorry, but I cannot afford to make this a lending library at this time. You may look at my books here all you like, but you may not take them with you.
It's a beaker full of eyes, and they all seem to be looking at you. Glass globes of unknown intent hang in nets from the ceiling. Some sort of complicated scientific experiment is going on here. Could it be the quest for the perfect cup of tea? It looks like a giant boiler. The chain attached to it looks like it activates some sort of release valve. You try a couple of quick pulls on the chain. You're not at all sure what you've started, but it's definitely enough to make you nervous. A contraption looking nothing quite so much as a giant ray gun points towards the operating table. Now wait just a second. There's no such thing as a ray gun in Mordavia, is there? Even mad scientists' labs need fireplaces to keep warm in this climate. You say goodbye to Dr. Cranium.
Please be careful not to break the beakers or crack the flasks on your way out. Come back and visit again. Oh, and if you see Igor, please tell him I still need the fluid.
What is it this time? What do you want from me this time?
You tell the Burgomeister what you're trying to do in Mordavia.
You are a good talker, I'll grant you that. If you do half the things they say you will do, then I'll be very surprised. Why are you always so curious about things? Don't you understand? Most things are none of your business. Never have I met someone who asks as many questions as you do. The problem with adventurers' guilds is that they attract adventurers. Adventurers tend to stir up trouble. I hope you will not cause trouble around here. More sightseeing? Well, there was a lovely lake to the southwest of town that used to be very popular among young people, but I do not know what it's like now. To the east is the town cemetery. It is a morbid thing to visit, but tourists always wanted to see it when tourists were able to come here. To the southeast is Irana's garden. It is an enchanted meadow well worth visiting. However, Mordavia has become a very dangerous place since the swamps were formed. Do not ever travel at night. If you are far from town when it gets dark, try to make it to Irana's garden. It's the only place where you will be safe. I do not really want anything to happen to you. Be careful. Irana was a powerful magic user who was rumored to have come from somewhere near Mordavia. Her garden is supposed to be magical and keep anyone who stays there safe from harm. Irana died here many years ago. Her staff in the center of town stands as her memorial. It is supposed to protect the town from evil and to have other magic besides. It is bad luck to speak of her death. If you must know, she died in that cave you say you came from. I am not a superstitious man, but I will not talk more about the subject. I have been hearing all sorts of stories about you lately. No one is certain what to make of you. Yet. Be careful out in the forest. It can be very dangerous there. Try to avoid getting into trouble. I would not like to have you in my jail, after all.